Good afternoon, and welcome to the UNCG auditorium. In the event of an emergency, please take a moment to locate the exit nearest you, keeping in mind that exit may be behind you or different from the door through which you entered. Please silence all cell phones and electronic devices at this time. Thank you, and enjoy today's presentation.
We strive for something greater, to turn imagination into innovation, to take creativity to new heights, and have the courage to pursue our dreams. We embrace what makes us different, considering, connecting, and engaging to find the value in every person. Where others see obstacles, we see opportunity. We shoot for the moon and we get there. We persevere and see the beauty in resilience. We believe that service transforms our communities, our city, and the world. We are teachers and inventors, philosophers and researchers, historians and artists, entrepreneurs and scientists, performers and athletes, Olympians and Spartans. We were founded to serve, and that's what we've been doing. Opening doors, breaking down barriers, taking giant steps in the pursuit of opportunity and excellence for more than 125 years. We are the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and we're just getting started.
Everyone, and please be seated. As Dean of the Graduate School, it is my sincere pleasure to welcome all of you to UNC Greensboro's inaugural doctoral hooding ceremony. It's fitting that this new experience is happening as we celebrate our 125th anniversary. Ominous sound that was. Our doctoral classes have been growing from our very first and only doctoral recipient from the Women's College in 1963 to upwards of 140 to 150 in recent years. Therefore, we have developed this special doctoral hooding ceremony to honor all that these candidates have given to our university through their teaching, their research, and their service, all while pursuing their own remarkable goals. These students are poised to become the next generation of college professors, researchers, problem solvers, and leaders. Graduates, we thank you, we wish you well, and we remind you to stay in touch with UNC Greensboro. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Andrea Hunter, Chair of the General Faculty and of the Faculty Senate, and it is my honor to bring you the greetings and congratulations of the faculty of UNC Greensboro. There is no higher calling for faculty than to train the next generation of scholars and professionals. To see you here with hood in hand, with your mentor at your side, brings us great joy and pride. I was recently asked by an undergraduate student, what does it take to make it through a doctoral program? There were many things I could have said, among them a quality of mind, a passion for ideas, discipline, and the desire to make a difference through knowledge generation. But what I settled on was perseverance, as it takes a tenacious will to sit where our doctoral candidates do today. And this extends to all the family and friends who have supported them throughout. To all, congratulations. And to our doctoral candidates, may I be among the first to welcome you to the Academy of Scholars.
It is my pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. As the chair of the board and as a proud alumnus of this fine institution, I congratulate you graduates on your significant accomplishment. The board recognizes the important and distinct role that doctoral education plays within our mission, and I am so pleased to be here with you today to celebrate our newest class of Spartan doctors. Family, friends, and faculty, I'd also like to thank you for all that you've done to support those sitting behind me. It's a great day to be a Spartan.
My name is Brian Cohn, and I've had the privilege of representing all of the graduate students as the president of the Graduate Student Association. I would like to share with all of you graduates one of my favorite quotes. Albert Einstein once said that only a life lived for others is worth living. As experts in your respective fields, I hope you take this to heart. Whether you help others in your work, by volunteering, or through public service, always remember that you have the ability to shape lives. Each and every one of you are leaving here with the skill set necessary to teach future generations and to make novel discoveries about the world. Take what you learned here at UNCG and share that knowledge with as many people as you can. On behalf of the Graduate Student Association, I would like to congratulate all of you on your accomplishments.
Good afternoon. I'm Dana Dunn, UNC Greensboro Provost. It is my pleasure to bring greetings from all of academic affairs on this very special occasion of UNCG's first doctoral hooding ceremony. This event recognizes the apex of academic accomplishment. Graduates, your accomplishments are a point of pride not only for your family and friends and the faculty who mentored you, but for all of the UNC Greensboro community. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Gary Bowen, Dean and Keenan Distinguished Professor of Social Work at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Bowen received 2 degrees from UNCG, a Bachelor of Science in Sociology Social Work and a PhD in Child Development and Family Relations. He also received his Master's in Social Work from UNC Chapel Hill. Dr. Bowen co-directed the development of the PhD program in social work at Chapel Hill, and he served as co-director of the program in its first 3 years of operation. He directed the program of study for the very first doctoral graduate of the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill School of Social Work, and this graduate is now a full professor at UNC Chapel Hill. Dr. Bowen has had a distinguished career as a research scientist, securing millions of dollars in contract and grant funding. He has authored or co-authored 5 books, more than 50 book chapters, and nearly 150 peer-reviewed journal articles. Dr. Bowen is past president of the National Council on Family Relations. His honors include the National Graduate Student of the Year Award in 1981 from the National Council on Family Relations, and a Distinguished Alumni Award in 2013 from UNC Greensboro's School of Health and Human Sciences. In 2017, Dr. Bowen was identified as an American Academy of Social Work and Social Welfare Fellow for his distinguished accomplishment as both a scholar and a practitioner who is dedicated to achieving excellence in his work to advance social good. He was also identified as a National Council on Family Relations Fellow for his enduring contribution to the field of family studies. Dr. Bowen received the Most Innovative Professor Award from the Social Work Student Organization at UNC Chapel Hill in 2002, and he actually received the Dean's Recognition for Teaching Excellence Award not 1 or 2 or 3 times, but 6 times over a 15-year period. In 2016, Dr. Bowen received the Excellence in Doctoral Mentoring Award. Please join me today in welcoming our esteemed UNC graduate, Dr. Gary Bowen.
Professor Dunn, Provost Dunn, thank you so much for that kind and generous introduction. I sent her just a little snippets of things to say, and I said, this is way too much to do. And she ended up doing most of that. So she was very kind of heart and generous. One of the things that she left out, and really is not in my speech today, but I brought up earlier, as I was driving down 40 from Chapel Hill today, I had a recovered memory. My dear mother passed away a couple of years ago. But one of the things I was thinking about is, how much pride it is and what an honor it is to stand up here today in front of this group. In 1949, my mother moved from a small farm to Virginia, and my family lived in a boarding house right across Lee Street, which I believe is now Gateway something. And they lived on Glenwood Avenue in an upstairs apartment. They didn't have a car. And my mother worked in the soda shop here on this campus. And I wish she could see this today, because my mother always made one thing very clear to me, that you are going to finish college. And so to be standing up here now and to honor my mother and the hard work that she did to get me here just feels really good. So thank you for receiving that. I arrived on the campus earlier today and had a wonderful luncheon with the Department of Human Development and Family Studies and the School of Health and Human Sciences. And I was so appreciative of their hospitality and their kindness in doing that. And it was so wonderful to walk around the campus and see so many things that I experienced as a student, to look at the library where I spent many, many days and nights studying. I had a carol there and a certain table when I was an undergraduate that one of the best pieces of advice I ever had was that when you come to college, find a place that you can study. And so I found a place like that in the library, And every day I would go there to that same place, that same chair, and I would study. And that was really a secret to me in terms of being able to concentrate and work and get things done. I guess the only thing other than this presentation that could really make this a more perfect day is to get a ride in that golf cart. Now, I know that the Chancellor has a golf cart around here somewhere because I keep seeing it on the website. So I'm going to find that at some point in time today and try to see if there's a reservation sheet for this. But I owe so much to this campus. This campus provided me with fertile soil for my development and education. And the opportunities and experiences that I had here as both an undergraduate and a graduate, it shaped my entire professional career. It was on this campus that I learned to be a critical thinker. And I learned about the power and the benefit of surrounding myself with capable colleagues. So I come here with a full heart and a sense of humility and full appreciation for what I've received here. But we're here today for the hooding ceremony. And it's not about me. It's about these candidates that are sitting behind me. So let's do some celebration of them for a bit here. First of all, and they're behind me, so I'm going to turn around and just say congratulations. Through your hard work, determination, and sheer persistence, you have achieved a status that relatively few people achieve, a doctoral degree. This is a significant achievement, and I applaud your accomplishment. Through your dissertation, research, or capstone project, you have contributed to new and independent discoveries and knowledge, which is the essence of a doctoral degree. At this point, I want to assure you that you've made it. They're sitting up here, they have their hoods in hand, they're getting close to making it. Now, I don't think that there's any relationship between this being December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, and doing this event. I hope there's no, I mean, there's no bombing like, you know, that you never turned that paper in for that course 2 years ago, or that class you never quit. No, there's not going to be any surprises today. Everyone has made it. So I want them to take a deep breath and breathe out, and I want them to turn to the candidate first on their left and then on their right, and I want them to offer their congratulations. All right. They still follow instructions. This is fantastic. Relax and enjoy the moment. Today is your day. I've titled my address today, Pay It Forward. And the bottom line message is simple. Do for others what has been done for you. In other words, pay it forward. Probably the modern notion of pay it forward is perhaps best known from the 2000 movie, which starred a young boy who was challenged by a school assignment to find a way to change the world. He starts a chain reaction of people doing good deeds, which really epitomizes this notion of pay it forward. But the basic idea of to pay it forward is to benefit a third party for a benefit or a good deed that you receive from someone else. And we see this happen all the time, don't we? You're on Wendover or Holden, you're driving down and you need to merge over into the right lane to take an exit. And you put on your signal light and some people seem to ignore you. But then there's someone that backs off and they let you in and you're able to make your exit. What do? You go down the road a little bit and you see somebody else in that same jam that you were in just a few minutes ago and you let them in. What have you just done? You've just paid them back. My spouse told me about being at a fast food restaurant last week. She and her sister were in line and they had driven up to the there seems to be a hum. There might be a landing of third encounters of the third kind here. There we go. And they had just pulled up to the pay station where the person was sitting there, the cashier, and the person said, "The person in front of you has already paid for your lunch." And she looked with some surprise, and the cashier said, "It just happens all the time." Well, what has just happened? She and her sister have now incurred a debt to make this happen for someone else. Now, this is a good thing. I mean, we could get into the social psychology of that, and we could have a full lecture and discussion about that, but I think we would all agree paying it forward is positive. It's a good thing. It has many positive benefits for the individuals, families, and communities. And I believe it's an appropriate focus for today's presentation in the context of this particular special occasion. For me, this hooding ceremony where a faculty member hoods the candidate in formal recognition of the candidate's completion of the doctoral program and formal entry into the Academy of Scholars symbolizes the truly collaborative and intergenerational nature of science. Each new wave or cohort of scholars advances, in some ways, the work of their predecessors. Then they step into the role of sponsoring and supporting the next wave of scholars. In other words, they pay it forward. We all build upon the work of those who came before us, and a sense of gratitude, humility, and responsibility to sponsor and support others are core values among scholars and within the academy. Doctoral candidates, the normative expectation and responsibility to pay it forward explains in part why these wonderful mentors that are sitting here getting ready to be the hooders have spent countless hours working with you. Believe me, as a person who has spent more than 35 years doing this, the behavior of your mentors is not explained by a paycheck or a job description. In part, they're paying it back from their own experiences. And guess what? So will you. The most central aspect of paying it forward are the relationships and connections in our lives and the powerful forces within these relationships, including norms of reciprocity and feelings of obligation that bind us together. The nature of these relationships and the forces have been really the front and center in my own research on the topic of risk and resilience. I've spent most of my career looking at the issue of risk and resilience in the U.S. military. And the basic question that I've tried to answer in that research has been, in context of the adversities and positive challenges that service members and military-connected families face, why is it that some people are able to manage those adversities and positive challenges while other people do not do it as well? In other words, the topic of resilience. In that particular study, I've used a road of life metaphor to basically approach my investigations. And from that perspective, we're all travelers on a road. And success is our ability to stay on that road. In other words, to get the job done, to meet responsibilities, to feed the dog, to mow the yard, to buy the groceries, to get the kids to schools. If you really break it down to the most concrete things, it's fairly basic. But those are all indicators of resilient behaviors, your ability to stay on the road and get the job done. For some of the candidates sitting behind me, the road has been difficult or challenging. This has not been an easy road for them to pursue, because this is the road that starts way back. It starts way back in terms of your birth, your preschool, your elementary school, your middle school, your high school, and here you are sitting today getting ready to be hooded for a doctoral degree. For others, maybe that road has not been as difficult. But even under the best of circumstances, this road of life has lots of twists and turns. There are things that are expected and things that are unexpected. And it continues on. As you look through the windshield, it continues on in time. Clearly, at best, working on a doctoral degree is a significant challenge, an undertaking that requires significant and considerable energy, time, resources, and personal sacrifices. A finding from my research and the research of many others is simply no one succeeds on the road alone. In particular, my research and others has shown the role that informal support systems play in their critical role in resilience. These relationships serve as both guardrails on the road of life or sources of support, which become particularly important when one is faced with adversity and positive challenge, and as tow trucks if and when one goes off the road. These ties with others, both strong and weak, have instrumental value to one's successful journey down the road, as reflected in the African proverb, if you want to travel fast, go alone. If you want to travel far, go together. Doctoral candidates, if you're like me, your major professor and members of this academic community served as significant navigators for you and as guardrails for you as you've moved through this academic program. For some of you, they've also served as tow trucks if you ran off the road or got stuck. From my perspective and my experience, the most important and meaningful aspect of doctoral education is the relationship between the major professor and the student. And today is a culmination of that special relationship. It's a celebration. In many cases, that relationship will continue on. The major professor that I had at UNCG, Dr. Dennis Orthner, and I still have an active writing relationship. When I met him, he was 32, I was 23. We're going to Israel in March and spending time together and looking at some projects that we're still doing. So a lifetime relationship. It doesn't get any more special than that. I love the photographs that emerge from these events. In the hooding, as the candidate is hooded, there's this look of accomplishment and sheer joy on their faces. And then there's always the look of the mentors. And usually that's a look of pride. Occasionally it's a look of relief, but some combination of those two. All right. So for both people, you're free and clear after the event today. You're free and clear. As doctoral candidates, I assume that some of the folks here will pursue academic careers. Others will pursue maybe careers in business or in public service. But by virtue of the fact that they're all receiving their doctoral degree, the likelihood that they will be mentoring and supervising others is very likely, if that's not already the case. So on this special day that represents a celebration of their achievement and is a critical transition point in their professional career, I encourage them simply to pay it forward as they continue down the road of life. To repeat the statement from the opening of the address, do for others what has been done for you. Share your gifts and talents with your students, your colleagues, and your collaborators. From one UNCG doctoral graduate to another, I wish you continued success on your life journey and in navigating the road ahead. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen, for your thoughtful and inspiring words. At this time, it is my pleasure to recognize all doctoral degree candidates and to authorize Provost Dunn to confer the degrees. Speaking for the Board of Trustees of this university and acting under the delegation of powers by the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina, I authorize you, Provost Dunn, to confer the appropriate doctoral degrees upon the candidates approved by the faculties.
Provost Dunn, today UNCG will award 78 doctoral degrees in the following categories. We have 67 earning the Doctor of Philosophy, 5 earning the Doctor of Education, 6 earning the Doctor of Musical Arts. These figures represent students who received degrees in August as well as those who are completing their degrees in December. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Robert Wells to the stage. He will be reading each candidate's name as they receive their doctoral hoods. Doctoral hooding faculty, if you could start moving towards the top of the stairs, that would be wonderful. Will the doctoral candidates please rise? Provost Dunn, I have the honor to present and to recommend the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, or Doctor of Musical Arts.
Acting on the recommendation of the graduate faculty as conveyed by Vice Provost Burke, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the President of the University of North Carolina, I hereby confer the degree upon those of you who have met the requirements for the doctoral degree for which you have been recommended, with all of its rights, honors, and responsibilities. Congratulations. Please come forward to receive your diplomas. You will be hooded by your committee chair or co-chair.
Angela Lynn Larson, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Martina Kalkunis-Ruppel. Matthew Michael Marshall, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Lacey. Kara M. Baldwin, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Ben Clark. Lily Berberian, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Jennifer Feather. Megan Hunter McGuire, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Anthony Kuda. Jacob Richmond Turner, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Roy Stein. Jason Corley Miller, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Keith Debbage. John Walter Nowlin, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Rick Bunch. Jamie Myers-Mize, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Greg O'Brien. Sarah Jane Gates, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Charles Bolton. Brian William Suttel, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Charles Bolton. Carrie Towery Peterson, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Watson Jennison. Ricky Eugene Farr, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sebastian Pauli. Jonathan Milstead, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sebastian Pauli. Byung Jae Son, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Rossingham Shivaji. Quinn Alexander Morris, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Ratnasingham Shivaji. Catherine Ann Payne, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Richard Fabiano. Matthew Alexander Thibault, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Gabriella L. Stein. Ariana C. Howitt, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Carrie Eddington. Georgina M. Gross, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Thomas R. Quapil. Jake Slater King, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Rosemary Nelson Gray. Natalia Janae Baucom, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Nancy Nelson Hodges. Mao Xiao Zheng, to be hooded by Martin Anderson. Rudolph Tete Bedele, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Kwasi Amoko Gwampa. Crystal Nakia Brunson, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Laura Gonzalez. Deborah Briley Burris, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Leila Villaverde. Leslie Ann Locklear, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sylvia C. Betez. Alta Thornton Morrow, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sylvia C. Betez. Julie Ann Voigt, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sylvia C. Betez. Anna Louise Patton, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Glenn Hudak. Jennifer Lee Jones, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Marcia Rock. Melissa Sullivan Walker, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Marcia Rock. Jeonghae Kang, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Pamela Williamson. Dana Page Turner, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. John Wilsey. Robin Lynn Thomas Pitts, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Jill Ann Chenard. Holly A. Hanley, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Christine Lundgren. Natalie D. Hengstebeck, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Heather Helms. Yue Liang, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Jonathan Tudge. Justin Philip Waxman, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Sandra Schultz. Lauren Suzanne Vervac, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Alan H. Goldfarb. Laura May Pipe, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Catherine Jameson and C. Tommy Lambeth. Wei Guo, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Ron Morrison. Allison Ann Koch, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Lauren Haldeman. Susan K. Brooks, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Van Horn. Heywan Shin, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Robin Bartlett. Myrtis Gillum Worth, Doctor of Philosophy, to be hooded by Dr. Deborah Wallace and Dr. Leslie Davis. Shanika Twashawn Moore Lawrence, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Ulrich Reitzer. Kevin Lee Wheat, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Ulrich Reitzuk. Pete Zachary Kashubera, the second Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Carl Lashley. Todd Alfred Steffen, Doctor of Education, to be hooded by Dr. Carl Lashley. Juliana Martin Hayward, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. Joseph Di Piazza. James Dean Hopkins II, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. Dennis Askew. David Joseph Mitchell, Doctor of Musical Arts, to be hooded by Dr. Eric Willey.
Will all of our new doctoral degree recipients please stand? I'd like everyone to join us in welcoming our new doctors. Congratulations to our doctors, and everyone please be seated.
Before we conclude today, I would like to recognize some very important guests who are with us. Would you please stand and remain standing as we recognize you? First, the parents of our graduates. Please stand. And now to join you, I'd also like to ask the grandparents, spouses, partners, children, and friends of our graduates to please stand. Please be seated. We are so delighted that all of you are here with us today for this wonderful celebration. I would also like to thank the faculty of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Please stand so our new graduates can express their appreciation for all you have done to bring them to this important milestone. Please stand. Thank you. Be seated. I'd like to also take a moment to acknowledge the participation of the following student groups in our ceremony today. First, the University Marshals provide leadership throughout the year, and they are integral to this commencement ceremony. The Graduate Student Brass Quintet selected from our nationally recognized School of Music, is providing the beautiful music today. Now, you may have noticed there is one very special member of the UNC Greensboro community who is not with us today on the stage, Chancellor Gilliam. Unfortunately, he is ill and infectious, or he would be here with us. He said to let you know he didn't know if the university budget would extend to giving all of you your own personal bottles of hand sanitizer. So he sent via me his congratulations to all of you. He asked me to say to you, go forth and represent your university well. This is the end of our ceremony. We ask that you remain seated during the recessional until the faculty and graduates have moved out of the auditorium. Guests are then encouraged to move outside to meet your graduate. Thank you.